Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Madam Nur Afni and our fellow friends. Today, our group project for OPM655 that consists with 5 members would like to present Kamal and Uqasha wedding project that we have done. This is Kamal and Uqasha.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Amira bin Ramli. I will present about work breakdown structure that known as WBS. As you can see, this is WBS for Kamal and Uqasha wedding project that has been created. There are total 4 levels of WBS, which are level 0, level 1, level 2, and lastly is level 3 that called as work package that includes all the specific work activities to be done. For level 0, the responsible person, which is the project manager, is Ikhmal, followed by level 1 that contain with the main work items. There are total of 5 main work items. Firstly is invitation and the responsible person is Hawa. Secondly is food and the responsible person is Amira. Thirdly is ceremony and the responsible person is Sharena. Next is entertainment and the responsible person is Hayanie. And lastly is service and the responsible person is Ikhmal. Move to the next slide, which is responsibility assignment metric that known as RAM. The RAM may use a P to designate primary responsibility and S to indicate support responsibility for a specific work items. There are only one individual should be designated as the lead of primary responsible for each work item. For example, the figure of RAM for Kamal and Uqasha wedding project indicates that Hawa has primary responsibility for WBS item 1, which is invitation, with Amir and Helmi supporting this work item. Next slide is define activities. By using the WBS of Kamal and Uqasha wedding project that we have done earlier, the individual that responsible for each work package must need to define all the specific activities that need to be performed to produce the end product or deliverable for the work package in WBS. For example, in figure of defined activities for Kamal and Uqasha wedding project, there are total of 32 key activities that we have defined. For instance, in work items of name tag, we have defined 4 key activities which are list out guest name, designing name tags printing, and arrangement of name tags.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am Nur Sharena, binti Mohamad Saleh. So I will continue to present about sequence activities or known as SA. Actually, what is sequence activity? Sequence activity is define the sequence of how the activities will get done. Move to the next slide. This is a web-based reporting for Kamal and Uqasha wedding project. As you can see, we have 32 activities that consist of list out guest name, designing name tags printing, and until to the last activity, which is hire cleaner team. Not only that, under sequence activity, there are also consists of immediate predecessor, responsible person, and time. For responsible person is persons that responsible for each activity, while for time is how long the time in days that have been taken for complete the activity. Next is network diagram. Network diagram that known as ND is a tool for arranging the specific activities in the appropriate sequence. It also defined as a dependent relationship. As you can see in this slide, this is our ND for Kamal and Uqasha wedding project. After we manage to complete first and second activity, then we can proceed to the next activity. So if we did not complete for first and second activity within the time given for each activity, meaning that we cannot continue to the third and next activity until we are managed to complete for 32 activity. And it is important because it shows how one activity relate to one activity. 6 is critical path. Critical path is the longest path in the overall network diagram. In order to get critical path, we need to calculate ES, EF, LS, and LF. ES that known as earliest start time, which means earliest time at specific when activity is begin. For EF, earliest finish time is earliest time at specific when activity can completed. Next is latest start time that known as LS. It is a latest time by specific activity must be started. Lastly is latest finish time, that known as LF. It is latest time by specific activity must completed. As you can see, for Kamal and Uqasha wedding project, we had been list out all the activity and calculate for ES, EF, LS and LF. To get amount of slack, the formula is LF minus EF or either LS minus ES. The lowest amount for slack that we get is 0 and it shows how the activity is perfectly be completed. As you can see, our critical path is the activity that we have been highlighted with green color. That's all from me, so I will pass to the next presenter is Hayanie Asilah.
Next, I will continue with the resource requirement plan. So, resource requirement plan can be defined as illustrators that expected utilizations of resource by time period during the time span of the project. Our resource requirement plan of Kamal and Uqasha wedding plan. Our resource requirement plan has been created by refer to our network diagram. While this project estimate completions is within 70 days. As you can see, each activity has days and workers. For example, for activity 1, list our guest name, we need to complete within 2 workers within 5 days and designing name tags with 1 workers within 3 days. So in day 1 until day 3, the activity that need to run is list out guests, names, and designing name tags with 3 workers per day. So the total of workers and days of Kamal and Uqasha wedding plan is 193. So to get amount of workers and days, for example, 5 days need to multiply by 2 workers and we'll get 10. So do the same step until complete for 32 activity and the amount of total days will same as total amount of work. Next, this is our charts of resource requirement plan of Kamal and Uqasha wedding projects. This is consists of numbers of workers and days. As you can see on the charts, for day 1 until day 3, there are 3 workers needed for each days. The 3 workers we get after we total all the workers each day of activity. List out guest name and designing name tags. Resource leveling. Okay, what is meaning of the resource leveling? It can be defined as method for developing a schedule that attempts to minimize the fluctuations in the requirements for resources. This is our resource leveling of Kamal and Uqasha wedding project. As you can see, the place of activity is changed. It is because we want to arrange the worker for each days in a consistent way. So not only that, it is because our project are required completions time is fit, which is 70 days, but our resource is variable. This is our chart resource leveling. As you can see, this chart is more consistent. For example, day 1 until day 4, we have 5 workers each days, and for the next day, which is day 5 until day 25, we have 4 workers per day.
Next, I will explain about risk assessment metric. Risk assessment metric is a tool for assessing and managing risks, which include potential risks, the potential impact, likelihood of occurrence, and the response plan. The risk assessment metric also refers to the risk register. Next is the risk assessment metric wedding project, which contains 6 risks. Firstly is water source supply shortage. The likelihood of occurrence and the degree of the impact of this risk is high because our event will head in Selangor area. The second is electrical source supply shortage. The likelihood of occurrence for this risk is medium and the degree of the impact is high. The third risk is food shortage. The likelihood of occurrence is low because the risk is rarely happen and the degree of impact is medium. Next is limited parking space. The likelihood of occurrence is low and the degree of the impact is medium. This is because the risk is rarely happens After that is the raining day during the event risk. Both of likelihood and of occurrence and the degree of the impact are high, so the action on trigger for this risk is my team will check the weather forecast 2 days before the wedding event. The last risk is hire person's last minute emergency cancel. The likelihood of the occurrence is medium, while the degree of the impact is high because it will increase the event budget. Next, I will explain about work breakdown structure with the work package budget. The purpose of the work breakdown structure with work package budget is to allocate the total project cost to the appropriate work package, and it will be establishing the total budget cost (TBC) for each work package. In addition, there are two approaches to establish the total budget cost for each work package, which is top-down and bottom-up. Next is work breakdown structure with the work package budget for my team's wedding project, and the total budget cost for this wedding event is 105,445,000. To establish the total budget cost for each activity, my team decide to use the bottom-up approach.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ikhmalhakim bin Razali. Today I will present to you about all the costs incurred in this project planning, which is Kamal and Uqasha wedding. So let's start. Estimated cost. Estimated cost is an activity is based on the type and quantity of resource required to perform the activity. In simple word, it is like a job description for the particular people to perform the task, and also the cost incurred when performing the task. So this is the estimated cost table. The costs that may be incurred in the particular activity are labor cost, material cost, and travel cost. For example, pay attention to activity number 7 until number 11. These are the type of activity need to be performed by Helmi in order to complete wedding card and banner task in WBS. And lastly, if you total up the total cost amount of activity 7 until activity 11, you will get the same amount in CWBS, which is 1,140. And finally, budget cost. To establish the total budget cost, TBC, also known as budget at completion, BAC, we need to divide the estimated cost of all activities and complete each activity in WBS. There are 5 main activities in this project, which is invitation, food, ceremony, entertainment, and services. Each activity accumulated all the costs in work package in the structure WBS. Therefore, the TBC are calculated. For example, activity invitation required to be complete within 18 days, almost 3 weeks. So the amount of each week are calculated based on the TBC for invitation. Moving on, CBC act like an indicator to monitor the amount of money that was used for a specific time. At the end, the total amount of CBC must be equal to TBC.
So, that's all from our group. Thank you.